Curiosities about the Manhattan Project. Number 9. How nuclear fission was discovered. The discovery of nuclear fission occurred in Germany in December 1938, when German physicists Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann conducted experiments on the bombardment of uranium with neutrons. The results of their experiments surprised them, as the uranium had split into two smaller elements, barium and krypton. This finding was eventually presented to the scientific community by the Austrian physicist Lise Meitner in a paper published in 1939. The process of nuclear fission had been discovered, and its implications for the world of science and technology were quickly realized. This discovery eventually served as the basis for the Manhattan Project, the United States' effort to develop an atomic bomb during World War II. Number 8. How did the project start? The Manhattan Project began in 1939 when physicist Albert Einstein sent a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt warning him of the potential danger posed by German scientists' research into atomic energy. This letter prompted Roosevelt to launch the Manhattan Project, a research and development project that sought to keep the United States ahead of Nazi Germany in the race to develop an atomic weapon. The project was officially established in June of 1942 and brought together some of the best and brightest scientific minds in the world to work together towards creating an atomic bomb. To do this, the project focused on three areas: uranium enrichment, plutonium production, and weapon design and development. By 1945, the project had succeeded in developing the first atomic bomb and ushered in the nuclear age. Number 7. The Trinity Test. The Trinity Test was the first test of a nuclear weapon. It took place on July 16, 1945 in the Jornada del Muerto Desert, near Alamogordo, New Mexico. The bomb used in the test was nicknamed Little Boy and was the size of a small car. The test was part of the Manhattan Project, a top-secret effort by the United States to develop a nuclear weapon during World War II. The test was successful and released the energy equivalent of about 20,000 tons of TNT, making it the most powerful explosion ever seen by humans. The resulting mushroom cloud was visible from about 120 miles away and created an earthquake that was felt up to 200 miles away. After the test, it was estimated that the explosion had killed about 200,000 people in Japan when the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Number 6. How Oppenheimer ended up leading the project. J. Robert Oppenheimer was chosen to lead the Manhattan Project because of his expertise as a theoretical physicist. He had recently achieved great success in his research and was seen as a great teacher. In particular, Oppenheimer had worked on the development of quantum mechanics and was well respected by the scientific community. However, he was also seen as a controversial figure due to his left-leaning political views. His appointment was politically controversial, as he was considered a security risk by the US government. However, his expertise and leadership abilities were seen as valuable, and he was eventually given the job. Number 5. The project was kept secret from Soviet allies. The Manhattan Project was a top-secret project conducted by the United States government during World War II in order to create the first atomic bomb. The project was incredibly important and secretive, and it was kept entirely hidden from the United States Soviet allies. The project was conducted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in the utmost secrecy, and even many of the scientists involved in the project did not know the full details of their work. All of the scientists and military personnel involved were instructed to maintain complete secrecy about the project, and the project was conducted in such a way that the Soviets were not able to gain any information about it. The project was a great success, and the atomic bombs it produced were used to end the war in the Pacific Theater. Number 4. Manhattan Project physicists worried about the effect their creation would have on world powers. The Manhattan Project was a top-secret project to develop the first atomic bomb during World War II. The physicists who worked on the project had a deep understanding of the destructive power of the weapon they were creating. They were extremely concerned about the potential for the atomic bomb to cause global destruction and its effect on the balance of power between nations. Many of them felt a great sense of responsibility for their work and the consequences of their success. They believed that the use of atomic weapons could potentially lead to a nuclear arms race and widespread destruction. In the end, their concerns were well-founded, as the atomic bomb did result in a shift in the balance of power between the major world powers, and it ushered in a new age of fear and nuclear proliferation. Number 3. The scientists wrote a petition to the president. The petition to the president, written by the Manhattan Project scientists, was a letter that urged the United States to share the atomic bomb technology with the rest of the world. The letter was signed by 67 scientists, including the famous physicist Albert Einstein, and was sent to President Truman on July 17, 1945. The scientists argued that sharing the technology would prevent other countries from using atomic weapons against the United States, and that it would lead to a more peaceful world. The petition had no effect on the president's decision, as only 2 weeks later the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. Number 2. Oppenheimer advocated against the development of the hydrogen bomb. Oppenheimer was one of the leading figures involved in the Manhattan Project, a government-sponsored program to develop the first atomic bombs. During World War II, Oppenheimer was the scientific director of the project. Despite his involvement in the development of the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer was a strong advocate against the development of the hydrogen bomb, known as the super. He believed that a weapon of that magnitude was too powerful and would lead to a global arms race, which could threaten the future of the human race. In 1949, Oppenheimer appeared before the Atomic Energy Commission and argued against the development of the hydrogen bomb. He famously said, "Can it be that the physicists have nothing to offer in this matter but their regrets? I think not." Despite his efforts, the US government approved the development of the hydrogen bomb in January 1950. Number 1. Total cost of the project. The Manhattan Project, which was conducted by the United States government during World War II with the goal of building the world's first atomic bomb, cost an estimated $2 billion. This is equal to around $26.2 billion when adjusted for inflation in 2019. The project's cost was spread across the 3 main sites in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Hanford, Washington, and Los Alamos, New Mexico, as well as dozens of other locations around the United States and Canada. The majority of the money went to building and maintaining the facilities and providing the scientists and workers with salaries, materials, and equipment. Hey everyone! Thanks for tuning in to this episode about the Manhattan Project. We hope you learned something new and found this video to be interesting and educational. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more videos about curiosities around the world. Until next time, stay curious.